You know that thing where you get an amazing pair of shoes at a really great price and want to tell everyone about it? Yeah, so do we. Here at Designer Shoe Warehouse, we'll give you something to brag about, like the latest styles from brands you love, or the trends everyone's obsessing over, or shoes that make you feel like, well, you. So go ahead, show off a little. Find shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. Head to your DSW store or dsw.com today. DSW, let us surprise you.
I've been a Kelsey Brothers stan for these many years.
What fresh hell?
Laughing in the face of motherhood.
If you have ever said, go with the flow, that's not a thing.
With Margaret Abels.
And Amy Wilson.
Packing takes exactly as long as you have to pack.
A podcast that solves today's parenting dilemmas
so you don't have to.
And when they say, I'll do whatever, they mean I will do nothing because you're going to execute. So why would I worry about it?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to What Fresh Hell, Laughing in the Face of Motherhood. This is Margaret.
And this is Amy, and today we're talking about decision fatigue.
One of those terms, Amy. I don't know that I can define it, but I know what it is.
But you're soaking in it.
But I'm soaking in it.
I have some research for you. I have a study for you that's pretty interesting, and I'm here to argue that default parents, of whom we are too, have this particularly badly.
Can I tell you how this manifests for me in my current life?
Sure.
When I go to dinner, I'm like I tell my husband, I'm like, hey, order everything. Just, you know what I like. I don't even want to decide what's for dinner.
That's my favorite kind of restaurant, right? Restaurant experience where you sit down and somebody's like, should we just share things? And like, yes, if you just put food in front of me, yes.
If you decide, my sister, who's a foodie, she gets tagged with this a lot. She's the like, you order for everybody. And the other day we went for dim sum and it was a very long, kind of complicated menu. And there were 14 people or something at the table. And someone said, you order. And she was like, no, I'm not ordering. You know, she pushed back. She's like, I can't make one more decision. But yeah, decision fatigue. That's right. And this is what I was saying about my Apple Music, shuffle. Like, I just want it to play me the music I don't know I want to hear. Like, that's what I want it to do. I can't decide what music to listen to. That's absurd.
Decision free. Right. I feel that way about music and podcasts. Like I'll save stuff and then it's like, no. I don't want any of this stuff I thought I wanted to listen to. I want something else that I want to listen to that I didn't know I wanted to listen to. Show me that. Yeah, I'm quite there.
Well, we've talked about this in terms of, and I was thinking about it in another context the other day that I can't summon right now, but basically that back a couple generations ago, women especially had very limited choices. Like you could be a secretary, a nurse, or a teacher. And then you got married to a man when you were 21.
Right.
Those were your choices, basically.
The boy who took you to junior prom, pretty much, or maybe, right.
Yeah, you marry that guy and then you just have as many kids as you have because there's nothing to be done about it.
Right. No decisions there.
Like the downside of that lifestyle, huge, as they say in New York. Huge. But the upside, you didn't have to decide anything. I mean, yeah, I'm all for free will. I'm all for choices, but there is something about, that's right. Like you married like the 9th guy who took you on a date and then you taught for a little while and then you had kids.
Yeah. Like junior high. My in-laws have been together since junior high, which was not even called that then. It was just called, 6th grade or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely have some family members who've been together since like 13, and it is a wild ride. And I'll tell you what I was thinking about this in terms of, you ready? Because it's a bit of a departure. Taylor Swift's new boyfriend. So Taylor Swift's new boyfriend, football player for the Chiefs, but he hosts a podcast I love called New Heights with his brother. I love them long before there was ever a Taylor Swift in the picture.
You knew it. Yeah, you're not a Johnny come lately.
The Kelsey Brothers. I've been a Kelsey Brothers stan for these many years.
God, this is the first time she's mentioning this, isn't it? I've never heard her mention this before.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't come up that much. I'm not a huge fan, but they played each other in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Their mom is cute. Like, I've always been like, oh, the Kelsey brothers, they're adorable. I
have heard it's a good podcast.
Not a stan, really, at all. I mean, I could barely tell you their names, but...
A fan, not a stan.
A fan, not a stan. They're just like on my radar. It's like, oh, those cute, big boys from Ohio. They're cute. And then I was thinking, one of them is now dating Taylor Swift. The other one is married to like this gorgeous, seemingly very cool young woman. But I was thinking, Taylor Swift has too many choices. Like, I don't know how if you're Taylor Swift, you ever get married. Because like, you date everybody. They're all extremely good looking, successful, top of their field. And then, I don't know, how do you ever decide, like, I'll just marry the Kelsey brother at this point? Like, too many choices.
This is like the Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend video, which turned into Material World Madonna video. Like, it's so hard to decide between this jewelry and that jewelry. She's so fatigued.
Yeah, I think it must be hard to decide between like this incredibly hot, successful actor or this incredibly hot, successful football player.
Or
like
diamonds.
Or diamonds. That's right. Like, it's kind of nicer to just be like, yeah, I met a cute guy. I guess I'll marry him. I don't know.
We can't all be Taylor Swift, but we do all have decision fatigue.
No, but I feel like Taylor Swift when it's time to decide what to get my in-laws for Christmas.
Because it's the one more thing. All right, so I'm going to give you the definition for decision fatigue because it plays out in the macro and in the micro. So Dr. Lisa McLean, she's a psychologist. She explains it this way. The more decisions you have to make in a day, in a year, in a lifetime, the worse you become at making them. You run out of energy to make them. The more decisions you have to make, the more fatigue you develop and the more difficult it can become. It's cumulative. So it's, when you go out to dinner on date night and you're just like, I don't know. Can you just order? Part of it is that it's 7 p.m. and you've had a really full day of making decisions.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it gets worse as you go along. The average adult makes 35,000 decisions a day.
Do we know what a decision is? Like, what does it mean? Like, should I take the left and go a long way or should I take the highway to the right?
Yeah. And I think it's like opening the refrigerator and, like, what am I going to make for lunch and this? And so I'll put the link in the show notes. This is an oft quoted statistic and I kept trying to get back to the source. It seems to be a real statistic, 35,000 decisions a day. And that's for like, quote unquote, the average person. That's not a parent, a default parent who's making decisions for other people.
Right. It's obviously exponential when you're making all the decisions for kids and stuff.
Exponential, right. When it's like, what should I get them for breakfast? Should I go this way or that way? Should I bring the snack or should I buy something there? Should I put the pink socks on her today, but she doesn't like the pink socks? All of those decisions. Should I give them a bath now or should I wait till after dinner? But then their hair's going to be wet. All that stuff that we make for other people.
Exhausting. Agree.
It's exhausting. And then thrown over the top, I would argue, is a partner who sometimes or often or all the time is like, I'll go with the flow, whatever you think.
Right. You're like, I am the flow.
Right. I'll do whatever. I saw this on Instagram recently and I reposted it in our stories and those go away. So I couldn't find it when I was researching this, but it was a really smart momfluencer saying like, if you have ever said, go with the flow, that's not a thing. If you went with the flow, that's because a type A woman made the decisions and organized it and made it so you could do that. Like, that's not a cool higher level of thinking. That's just letting somebody else do the work for you. And it was probably a woman. I'm like, amen, sister.
And you're like, I heard that. Yeah. And I think that's very much, I can think of a lot of situations of like, well, just don't stress so much about it. It'll be what it'll be. And it's like, it'll be what it'll be means
you do it.
River of crap is flowing to my doorstep. And I'm asking you to like help me divert it. And you're like, it'll be what it'll be. And it's like, no, it'll be my problem. But it just will.
Right. I'll have whatever for Christmas dinner. Like, okay. But somebody has to decide and go to the store and get it and whatever. And I think sometimes we do give the person who's like, I'm so easy, I'll do whatever, a pass, but they're not doing anything. When they say I'll do whatever, they mean I will do nothing because you're going to execute. So why would I worry about it?
Yeah. This is the guy I dated once who was like, I don't have a cell phone because I don't want to be like held down by, the order of the world. And I'm like, yeah, it just means you annoy everybody else all the time. Like,
right. Constantly.
Good for you for stepping out of corporate America, but it just means we can't make plans and it's extremely irritating. Like, it has no value beyond just bothering me.
So I hope you feel seen that we all have too many decisions to make in a day, especially you, parent of 3 kids, and you get to the end of the day and it's a little too much, or the end of the year, or the end of the holiday season.
Or just the end of 5 minutes, frankly.
The end of 5 minutes, the end of the and now this one more gift I have to get, it gets to be too much. It's cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
And it manifests in certain ways. See if these feel familiar to you. Actual physical fatigue. I mean, it's hard to tease that out if like I'm tired at the end of the day. Is that because I made too many decisions today? But
Just because you're alive and a mom in America. Yeah.
right, like I burned calories. I don't know, but actual physical fatigue, the feeling of brain fog, like you're sort of swimming through it. Like it's not, I don't want to make the decision because I don't feel like it. It's like, I can't. Like super salad. I have no idea. You'll have to come back.
Got nothing for you. No, sorry.
Just like it's a difficulty. These things happen, and then there are symptoms. So here's how you know, I guess. These are the 4 symptoms that Dr. Lisa McLean says these are the symptoms of decision fatigue. So this is how you know if it's decision fatigue instead of just fatigue, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So procrastination, when you're putting a decision off until later.
This is my life. Yes.
Right. Like I do this all the time. Yes. Impulsivity, making a rash decision based on no evidence at all. Like, fine, we'll do it live. Right? Who said that? One of the
Bill, he's that guy from Fox News. Bill O'Reilly. We'll do it live.
He's an old deluxe alert. Back in my day, do it live. So those are the twins the same.
Google do it live if you haven't seen that reference, because you just have to see it to know the genius of it.
So putting off the decision or impulsively making the decision or avoiding making the decision or, or being indecisive and you can't decide. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to see the difference among all of these, but it's like all the ways to making a bad decision are the symptoms of decision fatigue.
Yeah, and decisions are so weighted, right? Like, should I pull my child out of school and send them to a school that better meets their specific need? That I would call like a level 1 decision. I mean, it's a big, big, big decision. Should I get a divorce? Should I move to get a better job? Like, those are huge decisions. It's like you can't weight that decision the same as should I unfreeze the pot roast or should we just have takeout? I mean, the spectrum of decisions is so huge that it's hard to categorize decisions as a thing, because I think that I am currently trying to get my house ready for visitors. And it's just what I find is that it's going to be the last 12 hours I have. So I have a cleaning service coming in to clean the house in 24 hours from now.
Yeah.
I will not, but that involves like cleaning the whole house, right? Like I have to clean the whole house so that the clean people can clean. Like at this point, there's just debris, like clothing, lightsabers, and, pieces of paper with random elementary school assignments everywhere. I had to clean all that stuff up to get them to be able to clean. And I've known it was coming for a week, but I have just come to accept about myself that I will not do it until 12 hours out. And then I will be absolutely exhausted and I will stay up until 2 a.m. tonight doing it. But that's just how my mind works. Like otherwise I'm going to do it. Like I'll pick up 2 things and then I'll sit down and play Candy Crush. And then I'll pick up 1 more thing and I'll get bored of it. I got to be forced.
The adrenaline of the deadline.
Yeah, I got to have the adrenaline of a deadline. Someone told me a long time ago, packing takes exactly as long as you have to pack.
I believe it was me.
You're a genius.
I mean, I've certainly said that to many people. Yes, packing is one of those things that, like a gas, it expands to fill the space available. You can pack in 10 minutes or you can pack in 10 days.
I feel like cleaning is the same way to a certain degree. Like it's not 10 minutes. Like if I had 10 minutes, I would just be doomed right now. But I can do it in 12 hours if I, scream and cry a lot.
Have you ever gathered up things if you have the 10 minutes? Not that I recommend this, but have you ever just gathered up, like, here's everything that doesn't belong in this room and put it in a box and like close it up and put it in the closet? And
it's the only approach. I mean, that's all I have left to me is I just said to my husband yesterday,
even that will take you to 2 a.m.
How many big bins do we have? Because we're just binning it from now on. And then, because it's always my plan, then when the house is clean, we'll sit and go through the bins. Guess what never happens? Going through the bins. Yeah, the bins just live in the closet forever. And then I eventually have to do some sort of like throw out the bins, I guess. Whatever's in them must not have been that important.
I have to do that with like our entry, our coat closet in our hallway. We live in an apartment, so we don't have a lot of space.
Oh, the bane of your existence is that coat closet. Yeah.
Is the coat closet. Because I don't have a basement or an attic or, a pantry. Like we have limited storage space. And this coat closet, I cleaned it out a couple of years ago. And yet just the other day, I'm like, what is this like baseball mitt for a second grader doing in my closet? Like I thought we took care of this.
Those replicate they replicate by cell division. They just show up places.
They do. And so this stuff is like, and here it is like at hand as soon as I walk in my apartment. Like nothing should be in there except like my social security number and a code. I don't know, like nothing that, I don't even know how I obtained these things. And it's because I have decorative bins where I don't have to see them.
Oh, decorative bins. We hate them. All right, we'll be right back.
Hellions, it's time for some spring cleaning, and I don't just mean the coat closets. Doing your financial spring cleaning can actually be super easy when you let Monarch do your financial spring cleaning for you. One dashboard that gets your entire financial life organized. No more clutter, no more mess, no more logins scattered everywhere, just accounts, investments, property, and more, all in one place. Get your first year of Monarch for half off, just $50 with promo code FRESH. Monarch allows you to look not only at what you've already spent, but also to plan for the future. With Monarch, you can set savings goals, plan for big purchases, and notice spending trends before they become a problem. I can generate cash flow reports that show me what we spent this quarter, this month, what we're probably going to spend next month, and feel prepared, organized, and knowing how to plan for the future. No more surprises and a lot more clarity. Try Monarch. Use code FRESH at monarch.com to get your first year half off at just $50. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code FRESH.
Amy, when I'm having a good hair day, it usually makes my whole day better. And that's why on every day, I'm taking Nutrafol.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, and it's the #1 hair growth supplement brand personally used by dermatologists. Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested.
Nutrafol offers multiple formulas for men and women, tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors, so you get support that's actually right for you. Adding Nutrafol to your daily routine is easy. Order online, no prescription needed, with automated deliveries and free shipping to keep you on track.
Let your hair be one less thing to worry about. See visibly thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair in 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you visit Nutrafol.com and enter promo code LAUGHING.
That's Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code LAUGHING. All my kids learned to swim when they were little. It was super important to me that they be confident and safe in the water. There was only one problem with that: taking them to swim lessons. I mean, the pools were freezing. There were always cranky adults doing laps right there. And it was definitely not, for any of us, what you would call fun.
Amy, heard. But now there's Goldfish Swim School. Goldfish takes a really thoughtful approach to swim lessons, combining research-based teaching with a warm, kid-friendly environment that actually helps kids thrive in the water.
Every detail at Goldfish is thoughtfully designed to create a golden experience, from shiver-free, warm indoor pools to comfy waiting areas for parents to professionally trained lifeguards on deck.
Goldfish uses an approach called the science of swim play, which combines guided play with proven teaching techniques to help kids learn to swim, build water safety skills, and gain confidence, all at their own pace. Lessons are designed to meet kids exactly where they're at.
If you've been thinking about swim lessons or just wondering where to start, this is a great opportunity. Right now, Goldfish Swim School is offering a waived membership plus your child's first lesson free at participating locations.
Just visit goldfishswimschool.com/free to find a location near you and enroll using promo code FREE.
That's goldfishswimschool.com/free, promo code FREE.
All right, so here's a secondary issue for us in our personal lives.
Oh, good. That's what I was looking for. Do more issues.
When your energy is being used up for constant decision making, this is according to Dr. Renee Goff, another psychologist, it can deplete your frustration tolerance.
Correct.
Okay, so that when you've made decisions all day, you get more frustrated. This can make you irritable. Yes. It can make you resentful. Yes. It can make you have apathy, like just like whatever, I don't care, even though you don't mean it, which is a really bad thing. Like you're saying, I seriously do not care. And then you end up going somewhere like you don't even like Indian food, but you yelled at everybody that you don't care.
Right.
Because you were mad. And then the last one is sort of
sounds familiar,
like ruminating, like catastrophizing and ruminating about decisions that you've already made. Like I'm thinking about the decision I was trying to make about whether to hold my kid back in kindergarten, which is, like you were saying, it, at least at the time, it felt like a level 1 decision, and one that there wasn't. The right answer is different for every kid, right? But I felt like there was a more right answer. And so I really, I struggled with this decision. And then I struggled with whether that was the right decision, right? Then I spent like the whole summer ruminating over, but should we have done the other way? And is it too late? And what if I called? And I did spend so much time going back and forth. And I'm understanding now that that's decision fatigue.
It's also our old friend, Amy, illusion of control.
Right.
And I think that so much of this, we've talked about it in terms of like, somehow there is like a universal, like gigantic corporate eating the earth problem going on that like, plants and stuff poisoning the rivers and all this stuff going on at this gigantic level. But somehow if I don't rinse out my spaghetti jar because I'm too tired, like I am the earth murderer. And maybe I am, but it is a little bit of an illusion of control decision making. And I think that's what makes it feel so heavy. And that's one possible place to attack it, which is that the reality is, I know we all read the Malcolm Gladwell book that said that kids born in, whatever month actually make the elite soccer teams. But there are certainly decisions that affect the outcome of your life. But more often than not, my husband and I were involved in a very bad accident when we were dating, and we were on a motorcycle and we crashed and he was badly injured and we were newly dating. He had recently been divorced. I was older and looking to get married. And I always say, I don't think that we would have gotten married if it hadn't been for that accident. Right? Because we were just on very different pages as daters. And the reason the accident happened is many things, but we were riding a motorcycle. We were at the end of the ride. He literally had the right blinker on to turn towards home. It was a gorgeous sunny day. And I said, you know what? Let's take one more loop. He hit the left blinker and off we went. And like there began 3 children and our whole life and like everything that's happened since. Because we made a left instead of a right. Like that's what affects the outcome of your life much more than like, I am going to redshirt or not my kindergartner. I'm not saying it's not a big deal. Yes, like where you choose to go to college may be where you meet your spouse, or it may be where you meet the mentor that changes the trajectory of your career. But which decision affects what? You just don't know at the time. And my dad has an expression that drives me absolutely crazy because he tends to say it when I'm in a very bad place. And it is never judge a crossroads. So like, okay, you got fired from your beloved job that you loved and wanted, but you don't know if that's good or bad, that you actually don't know. Like when I lost my job at Nickelodeon and I was like, I don't even know what happens next. That's when I was sort of like, let me reach out to Amy and see if she wants to do a podcast. Like, I get the message of never judge a crossroads, but when I'm actually crying at the crossroads, I'm not ready for that. I'm like, Dad, I love this advice. Hold on to it for like a month because I'm not ready to hear it today.
But it's better than like things happen for a reason, right? That it never judge a crossroads, I feel like gives you a little more agency in this. It's an opportunity to do something else. And yes, maybe you're not ready to hear that in the moment, but it gives you the agency instead of like the universe decided that, your kid wasn't going to make varsity, whatever. But it's so interesting to me, the decision. So you're suggesting that the most important decisions that you're making, potentially, you do have no idea what they are. It was a right or left. You weren't like, which one should I decide? Right.
The most important decision of my life to date is that I said, let's take one more loop. That's of all the things that have changed the outcome of my life. And there's probably a million other ones that I can't even point to. But like on a sunny day, being like, let's go for another half hour. It's so beautiful out here. And in some ways that's comforting, and in some ways that's terrifying because you're like,
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, is this a good thing that now every decision might be really important? The ones that seem important might not be, and the ones that you were just going to toss off now might change the course of your life. I don't want to overthink every decision, but it is.
No, and I can remember watching the Oprah Winfrey Show when I was like 11, 12, 13, something like that. It was about some woman who like heard I can't remember. The house was on fire and Oprah like looked in the camera and was like, never, ever ignore or doubt your instincts. And I swear I trace that back to like why I have OCD to this day. Like I have a total illusion of control that like Oprah told me never. Don't try. This is, by the way, not Oprah's fault. I'm sure it was much more hardwired than this, but like I can still remember. And then I'm like, is my instinct telling me like not to get in the car? Is my instinct like, it's not good advice.
Sometimes your instinct is asleep,
ignore
right?
Your instinct. Sometimes your instincts are terrible. Sometimes they're good. It's just very hard to know which one is which. And I think decisions are kind of the same way. Like you don't know which decisions are going to be good or bad.
Right. So can you frame that as something that makes it easier for yourself instead of harder? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have a study. I thought this was a really interesting study.
All right. Hit me with a study. I'll take it.
About if you do have to make a decision, when's the best time of day to make a decision?
Okay.
And so this study showed that even if you don't consider yourself a morning person, that the morning is the better time to make a decision.
That tracks for me.
So this is how they did it. It's pretty interesting. They took a bunch of people who were playing online chess, like an ongoing sort of online chess tournament that you could show up for and play games. And they also, by the way, took these people aside and had them do a survey on like, do you consider yourself a night owl or a morning person? And that answer had no bearing on how this turned out, which is interesting. So they they're also playing timed chess games. So they're making decisions. They're trying to make good decisions and they're trying to make good decisions quickly. So they sort of have two things coming to bear at the same time. So they watched how these people made decisions over, many games, many months. And they discovered that in the morning, whether or not they considered themselves a morning person, people made better decisions. They were playing better chess, but they were playing more slowly. And then as the day went on, their response time speeded up, but their decision-making was less successful and rash. And it all kind of evened out. This is the really weird part. Like because they needed to make good decisions and they needed to make them quickly. So their decisions were better, but they were slower. And then as the day went on, they got faster, but their decisions weren't as good. So it was kind of a wash. So it isn't like play chess in the morning, but it did show that if their decision-making process was better in the morning. So that if you have a big decision, address it in the morning.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I think that, right, like fatigue and getting overwhelmed, and then partly you rush just to be done with it. It's like Christmas shopping, right? You're like, okay, the first 3 gifts are in budget and good. And then towards the end, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to spend all of the money and it's going to be something no one wants. It's just you're tired, you're rushed, and you have major, major decision fatigue.
I had not gotten my spouse anything for Christmas yet. And like, as we do every year, we're like, just don't even bother. Just don't do nothing.
If you had, I would be so annoyed with you.
Right. I haven't. We did already have the conversation, like, just stop it. Just like, we're not going to. But then of course, like, we got them a little something. Anyway, last year I bought him like a nice sweater that was remarkably like a sweater he has already. And I had to like get like, double overnight shipping because I waited until the last second and then I made sort of a rash decision. Like he wears the sweater, it's fine, but was it the most rational decision I made? No, it was the last decision I made. It was the quickest. It was definitely the quickest one.
Well, it's interesting because I remember hearing on that Malcolm Gladwell podcast, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's the Malcolm Gladwell podcast. And it's about how they test not the bar exam, I think, but it's like it tests for something that lawyers don't actually do, which is making a million decisions really quickly. And that the whole idea of like, and I have a niece who's currently in medical school and there's a lot of stuff that's changing around medicine, but they still test them based on like 30 years ago. Like you actually do not need to memorize the name of every bone in the body. Like,
because it's in your pocket, in your back pocket, you can pull it up. Hey Siri, right.
It's in your pocket. That's right. So like, do we at some point evolve the skills that doctors need? Like my niece is extremely smart. She's memorized all the bones in the body, but she's extremely like personable. But like, does there come a point that ability to access research is more important than being able to memorize large numbers of things, which used to be a huge requirement of a doctor, right? Because you wanted somebody, and maybe still in certain fields like the ER or something, you want to be like, that's next to the bone. And it's like, okay, we're all speaking the same language and maybe there's no time to Google it, but it is interesting how the ability to make decisions and like the ability to recall and process information quickly is hyper valued when the results are not very good. Like we cannot untangle those two ideas for ourselves.
Yeah, most standardized testing is kind of speed-based. I know the ACT more than the SAT. I know because I've had kids who take those tests. And yeah, that's starting to be questioned. Is like, why is being really fast at knowing the answer to something better than knowing the answer to something? And nobody's really sure exactly.
And in 2023, why is knowing the answer to something better than like being able to pull out your phone and find it? You know what I mean? It's kind of like, is there a point where Google becomes a calculator? Like, oh, you don't actually have to sit and do long division on paper anymore. It's not really that useful a skill. Like maybe some math fundamentals are there, but how we test for stuff and value stuff is super interesting to me in terms of like, and we do sort of still put the emphasis on make good decisions. Like, oh, and it's like, I'm not sure I buy it at all. I think maybe like
make good decisions, make snap decisions. There's a book called Thinking Fast and Slow that argues, Daniel Kahneman, and his name is, and that there are two sort of, there's a fast way of thinking, which is overvalued in this society, and the slow way might be more accurate. And then Malcolm Gladwell makes just the opposite argument in Blink. He sort of posits that go with your gut, go with your instinct. It's usually right.
It's not actually true. I mean, I think we just also live in a world. Let me hold this thought, Amy. Let's take a break and I'm going to lay down my thought on this topic for you.
Okay.
Amy, let me tell you about a magical place that is so exactly designed to be enclosed space, year-round fun for the whole family that I bet you already know what I'm going to say before I even say the name. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Great Wolf Lodge. You got it, Amy.
My kids loved Great Wolf Lodge when we went. You probably already know that it has a huge indoor water park with a wave pool, lazy river, a bunch of massive water slides. But then your pack can hit the other attractions because wait, there's more.
Great Wolf Lodge has adventure-packed attractions like Magi Quest, a live-action game kids can play throughout the lodge, plus the Northern Lights Arcade. Spent some quality time there, so your kid who loves the lazy river and your kid who loves fantasy games will both have a great time.
Great Wolf Lodge also offers great dining options and complimentary daily events like nightly dance parties, all under one roof. Unpack the car once and you're settled in to have fun. And with 22 lodges across the country, you're always a short drive away from adventure.
We've both had such great times at Great Wolf Lodge, so bring your pack together at a lodge near you. Learn more at greatwolf.com and strengthen the pack.
My favorite skincare products actually feel more like self-care, like they're so nice to put on and they smell so good that I'm actually happy when I get to that part of my day. And I swear that is how I feel about Osea's anti-aging body balm.
Amy, you are usually the lotions and potions queen on this podcast, but I have to say, hard agree.
Osea's anti-aging body balm is a liquid silk body balm that combines the lasting hydration of a lotion with the firming power of a serum, leaving skin smoother and firmer.
This body balm is clinically tested and designed to deliver visible results you can see and feel.
So we've gotten to use this product for a couple of months now, and I swear I have really noticed firmer and smoother skin, like on the back of my hands. It's like getting a mini spa treatment from head to toe.
Get a spring-worthy glow with clean, clinically tested skincare from Osea. And right now, we have a special discount just for our listeners.
Get 10% off your first order site-wide with code FRESH at OseaMalibu.com.
That's 10% off your first order with code FRESH at OSEAMalibu.com. And now, things you will say as the holidays approach this year.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
This year, we are not going to go crazy for the holidays. We're going to keep it simple and concentrate on what really matters, which is family.
Last year, we went too over the top, but this year, we are reining it in.
Now, there are supply chain issues, and I'm going to take that as my excuse to just pare it down this year. Nothing extravagant.
But listen, speaking of supply chain issues, I really need everyone's list by the Sunday before Thanksgiving, or you're getting nothing this year.
Okay, and we do need to do holiday cards. That's non-negotiable. And so I don't care what it costs. I do need someone to ship me sweater vests before this Thursday.
Okay, nobody got me their gift list, so I'm going to have to decide what to get everyone on my own.
Wow, those sweater vests were pricey. The holiday budget is already blown, and it's only November.
I thought we were doing a simple Thanksgiving potluck in the backyard. What do you mean your mother expects us to fly to Idaho?
Okay, I'm out of time. The supply chain is freaking me out. I'm just gonna buy all the things.
Okay, but next year, we are not going crazy.
This has been Things You Will Say as the holidays approach this year.
From the What Fresh Hell podcast.
I think we also live in a world of like airport books where everybody's sort of like, blink. Your first decision is the best. Think slow. You'd make better decisions when you take time. Decision 101. Masters of the universe make decisions in this way. And I think that it's always good to kind of remember that these things are not actually true.
They get you booked on morning shows to have a provocative thesis.
There are observations about the different ways people make decisions. And yes, is there something true to the blink thing of like, I remember reading an article once and thinking, this story makes no sense. And later on, it turned out that it was a fabrication, the whole article. And I was like, yeah, I mean, the second I read that, I thought that doesn't make any sense. And the whole thing was like tons of editors had worked on it forever and ever and ever, but they were in it too deeply to see that, you know, as it built slowly for them, they couldn't see the logical nonsense of it. And then that's basically what happened. It's like it went out wide and me and millions of other people read it and were like, wait, what? How did this happen? And then it fell apart completely upon, you know, a second look. So yes, there's some truth to that, but there's also truth to like making decisions, weighing decisions, and taking time with them are better. Crowds, the wisdom of crowds, right? Like getting a group together to help make decisions. And I worked at a company that I won't name at this moment, but it just was an endless series of meetings about like, well, should we tease this launch out slowly or should we do a big surprise drop? And in every meeting, I was like, those two things are exactly equal depending on how good the product is. If it's a good show, it doesn't really matter that much. And if it's a bad show, it matters even less. Like these decisions are not, they're basically equal decisions that we're having 7 meetings over debating the various points of.
Yeah.
It's not a real decision.
And I think we can do that in our families too. Like I really, when it comes to vacations, where we're going to go on vacations, my spouse is definitely like, I'll do whatever. And I'm sort of like...
And you're like, there is a woman behind that decision. I'm looking at Amy's notes for this episode and it says, go with the flow, not a thing. That's you.
Not a thing. Right. So then I'm like, I have to make a decision. But then I'm going around and around on the vacation. I do sort of, you know, worry it, make it into a my precious because it needs to be the best right answer instead of something that could be... It's put on me to decide where everybody's going to go on vacation. And then I'm worried about, well, will this one have a good time? Will that one have a good time? I understand these are first world decisions, but instead of just picking something I'd like to do, like if I get to pick, then I guess we're going back to Vegas. No, I'm like, oh, should we do this or should we do that? And then I worry. And up until we go on the vacation, did I pick right? Maybe we should have done this. And I think that's what's hard about being the one who makes the decisions for the family. You feel like, you know, you're going to get graded later on your decision-making process, even though you would have loved some input. But on the other hand, it can be, we could for the rest of time sit around the table and say like, where should we go on our next vacation? And we'll never come to something that all 5 of us agree is a great idea at the same time.
Right. And if you open it up to everyone, then everyone's like, see, this wasn't fun. Mine would have been better and whatever. And I also think that the sort of facile examples that we're giving, like vacation and maybe like red shirting and that kind of stuff, you can kind of be dismissive about. I do think when you have a child who has a chronic illness or a diagnosis or things where their life outcome seems very tied to the decisions that you make for them, right? Like that they can be very haunting. The idea of like, well, if I had intervened earlier, then we could have stopped this bad outcome from happening. Or if I had found a different school, they wouldn't have been involved in this problem that led them to some bad outcome. And if I had not done this or that, you know, I think that this is what weighs so heavily on moms is the idea that And we do this, right? Like, I mean, I do this in my own life where I see terrible stories about things that have gone horribly wrong with kids. And I'm like, oh, well, where did it? Let me trace it, because like somewhere that mom made a mistake that I'm not going to make.
She left a window open. Right. And I wouldn't leave that window open.
And I think that we define the world that way for other people. And then we end up being kind of beholden to that for ourselves in terms of, well, I have to be really careful with every one of my decisions so that I don't have those bad outcomes, because I believe those bad outcomes happen because of someone's bad decisions.
I think that's it. Like when you're talking about the left or right thing and how that changed the course of your life, when we're making decisions for our kids, it does feel like I should have signed them up for violin lessons, or I shouldn't have signed them up for violin lessons. It feels like the decisions we're making have these sort of turn left or right. Should I hold my kid back for another year of kindergarten or not? That is going to have these, bajillionth level outcomes that you can't see in the moment, and they feel heavy.
And it will. That's the thing. Like if you hold your kid back from kindergarten, they will meet a different spouse than they would if you didn't hold them back from kindergarten. Like that's crazy, but it's true, In the same way, I mean, I won't even get into the full story of it, but there is a thing in my family that if JFK had not been assassinated when he was assassinated, my dad was working in government at the time. It changed the government structures around. He ended up moving to Washington, D.C., where he met my mom, and they got married. So like, basically in our family lore, if JFK isn't assassinated when he's assassinated, I don't exist, right? And I think it can be both sides. Like it can be very comforting in terms of like, okay, I'm so worried about redshirting my kid. Meanwhile, there is a historical event happening somewhere that is going to shape the entire outcome of the universe that I have zero control over. But it can also make every left turn and right turn feel super heavy. And it is true that again, not to be facile, it is true that how you decide to parent your kids will have an effect on how their lives turn out. You can't just be like, oh, don't worry about it, because it is true that your decisions to interact with your kids in certain ways will have positive and negative effects for them that are very hard to understand and quantify. So sorry.
When you said historical event, we did an episode during the pandemic called Pandemic Decision Fatigue that was more particularly related to I'm so tired of trying to read the tea leaves on there's a mask, okay, here, but I don't need it here. What should I be doing, and how hard all that was. And I do think we're all, and I'll just speak for myself, while I was busy worrying about, was I picking the right summer camp for my kid for summer 2020, right? Around the corner was a global pandemic that would change everything about the way we lived. And it didn't matter where my kid was going to go to summer camp, because the answer was nowhere, because everything was closed. I do think that sometimes underpins it for me too. I need to make sure everything's going to be okay and keep an eye out for something that might change everything, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm looking for exactly, but I need to keep scanning the horizon for that X factor that should be impacting my decisions. Only how can it when I don't know what it is?
For sure. I mean, there are headlines this week that are like, oh, the soft lockdown in Sweden was the most effective. It was better than leaving everything open, and it was better than hard lockdowns. I mean, it's one study, whatever. All this to say, people are going to use it to be like, see, this person was wrong and this governor stunk and this one was great. Everybody's just trying to make the decisions with the information they have at the time. Yes, if we could all make decisions 4 years out for what the best behavior was 4 years ago, we'd be much better at it, because we would have the information we needed that okay, outdoors, you're probably fine. Close contact, you want this. Turns out the cloth masks weren't so great. Yes, it's easy to go back and say well, these people made right and wrong decisions.
That's only knowing what we know now. Right.
You don't have the information when you're trying to make the decisions. And so I think also that it's just good to keep in mind, because it lets you off the hook again a little bit, which is I'm going to do the best with the information that I have, do better, know better. I'm going to change my decisions later on. But, maybe you can't go back and be like, oh, this decision I would have done differently. There's lots of things I would have done differently if I had known. And some of them, I think all the time, our school system in the town that I live is much smaller than I realized. So it's one class that goes through K through 12th. If I had known that, I would not have moved to this town because I don't think that's great for kids to spend 12 years with the same 150 kids or whatever it is. But I'm glad I didn't know because now I'm really happy living here. My kids are doing fine. Like, it's fine. Turns out that was not the biggest factor. Turns out it was in a constellation of factors less important than the fact that they walk and there's this and this one met this great friend and this one gets these great services. And it's just hard to know which of the factors is going to be important.
I have a couple of tips I've collected on decision fatigue and how to make things a little bit easier because we're going to continue to be the decision makers. This one was interesting. I hadn't really thought of this, that turning off alerts and notifications to the extent that you can is good because those are actually micro decisions. Like if a text comes in and you're distracted by like, should I answer that now or should I go, well, am I free next Tuesday? Even if you don't answer, it starts like it stacks decisions right then. And so if you're feeling overwhelmed, turn off notifications because that is going to cut down on the number of decisions you make.
We've talked about it a lot. I will say I have finally like disengaged from what used to be Twitter and I've gotten some social media off my phone and disengaged from like the daily, turned off all the alerts that are like, here's another terrible thing happening somewhere today. And it has improved my quality of life. I still mess around on my phone too much and watch too much TikTok and stuff, but I have disengaged somewhat from the like crisis roller coaster. And I'm going to say it's working pretty well for me.
Another one is that this person was suggesting that you should decide the night before, but we just learned that you make better decisions in the morning. Whenever is your happy time of day is a good time to make decisions. This person was suggesting lay out your clothes the night before, decide, what's for lunch the night before, do all that stuff the day before. You'd rather rush into it the last minute.
I'd rather rush into it last minute. I'm never going to do that.
Yep.
And I don't want to make decisions at night. I would say introduce the phrase, I'm not making any decisions right now. That's what's really helped me. Mm-hmm. My husband will occasionally at 10 o'clock at night, as we're like getting ready for bed, be like, should we travel to blah, blah, blah on Tuesday or Wednesday? I'm like, this is not a decision time for me. Let's talk about it tomorrow.
I've realized that after dinner is not a good time to be like, let's talk about how much we're going to give to the...
Let's take an hour on Saturday morning over coffee and talk about it then. I'll be rested. I'll be ready to do it, but not... No, thank you.
I think it's a good idea too, to take turns being the one who has to decide and the one who goes along with whatever. Like, why am I the one who plans all our family vacations? Is it because I like to be in control? Probably a little bit, but why? But it's also because everybody else likes to just show up at the airport. So I can hand that over. I don't have to do that every time. Decisions, big or small, don't all have to be in. I don't have to decide what's for dinner every night.
I'm big on the phrase, and I use it at work too. Tag you're it. I mean, I say it like sometimes I'm like, hey, can I give you this? Tag you're it. Like you take this.
And you do say this all the time. It's good.
I do. I say it all the time. But it means to me, like, I'm out. You decide this, and I trust you to make this.
And
like,
I trust you.
There are decisions that come up because Amy and I work together now in so many different ways that, like, all right, we need to, like, bring our heads together on this. But if it's like, I don't know, what font we're going to use for this, I feel like you are better at design. I'm like, can I just say tag you're it? Like, whatever you decide is fine. And then that also cuts me off from coming back later and being like, this font doesn't look good. I mean, like, this is your decision. And similarly, like, this is your decision. But the big rule is then you're not allowed to come back later and be like, I don't like the way it looks.
I don't like that part. But you're right. If you're out, you're out. Right. And if
you're out, you're out.
And if you're the one, if you're the little red hen that had to do all the work and then everybody comes back like, oh, I don't like, sourdough bread. Like, well, too bad because you let me decide and I decided. I'm going to try to get better at being that person.
You didn't vote. You don't get to complain. Come on, people.
Right.
And I think we should close with really the best advice we've ever heard on this entire subject, which is from the lazy genius, decide once.
Decide once.
This is so smart. Decide once means every time someone you know has a baby, you give them this pink sweater from this store.
Right. That's me. That's my decide once, the same baby sweater.
Every 12th birthday party gets a gift card for $30 from Target. And like you don't have to make decisions. And I do this a lot now. Like, it's fine to decide once what's for dinner on certain days. Friday is always takeout. And then if you want to have 2 floating days, if you're like, oh, I saw something cool on Pinterest, I'm going to try that for Wednesday. The fewer, solve your decisions one time in every area possible.
I think about that all the time too. Decide once.
Oh,
I'm getting better at it.
yeah. And I'm not great at it, but I do come back to it. It's like, wow, that was good advice if I could do it, which maybe I can't.
Look, take our advice. Do as we say, not as we do here.
Yeah. Oh God, don't model your life on mine. You'll be a sad person and a mess. But please take my advice on how to do it.
Make a great decision.
Those who can't do, teach, Amy. Have you ever heard that expression?
Those who can't do podcast.
Exactly. Amy, we've solved it.
As always, we solved decision fatigue.
Decisions solved.
I'm refreshed. I'm ready. Just, send me your tough, thorny questions and I'm ready to solve like 100. I have so much energy right now.
Except for we have one more decision for people to make. Although we've decided it for you. You will be subscribing to What Fresh Hell Plus.
With What Fresh Hell Plus, you get an ad-free 700 episode archive of every episode we've ever done. So you can gorge on your listening. And then we also get monthly bonus episodes where we talk about whatever we feel like talking about. This month's episode is going to be what we're asking for Christmas. And I'm really curious what you're going to say.
I have a great bonus episode idea I just came up with. I'm going to tell you when we finish today.
Okay, you'll have to wait. Yeah. And so to sign up for What Fresh Hell Plus, I'll put the link in the show notes, or you just go to our website, whatfreshhellpodcast.com, and like tick, 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 2 taps, and you're subscribed right where you already listen.
Please do that. And with that, thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you next time.
So long.